other one. Ah!
Yes, I am live.
Hello, hello. Let's see if anyone joins. Sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I'm back. Is that one still... Hi. Sorry about that. Thank you for coming back. Yeah, we're back. Hopefully that doesn't happen again. Thank you for coming back. And we made... It's very pink back there. Yay! Thank you guys for coming back and not leaving me. On the farm. That's what happens. Actually, this happens to me everywhere because I use my phone. Hi. Okay, yay, we're back. Okay, Joe Biden cuts prices at a yard sale by mowing the lawn. I needed to up my joke game before I got on here, didn't I? Okay, so, what was I reading? Ah! So in this huge... Hi, Michael. You went to the buffer zone, and I couldn't get out. I was stuck in there. So the Senate parliamentarian, this is the second time they have said no to, speaking of illegal immigration, they were trying to give, they kind of snuck it into this bill. They were trying to give amnesty to lots of illegal, oh, wow, no. On September 19th, McDonough, so this is the denied. Yeah, that was denied. On September 19th, McDonough, this is the woman who is saying no to the amnesty, turned aside an initial effort by Democrats to include immigration language in the social spending plan. That proposal would have granted permanent status to immigrants illegally brought to the U.S. as children, farm and essential workers, and people who fled certain countries affected by violence or natural disasters. The Congressional Budget Office estimated that the proposal could also have affected, this is crazy, I didn't know it was this many people. It could have approximately affected 8 million people in the U.S. That's a lot of people. They were trying to sneak it in that little bill. Okay, so Democratic Senator Menendez from New Jersey said it's unfortunate. I agree with her. Oh, it's unfortunate. I disagree with her. Wow. Liberal groups and far-left members of Congress have pressured Senate Democrats to ignore McDonough and force immigration language into the legislation anyway. However, both Menendez and Durbin have indicated leadership does not have the votes to do so. In reality, it would be more like 20 million. Yeah, for sure. I didn't think it would actually say that it was that many. That's a lot of people. And this is the second time. It was Representative Ilhan Omar also said to ignore the parliamentarian. Interesting. Thank God for Manchin. Yeah, so he's been saying it's Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin, and he's been saying all day that he is not voting for this spending bill. Let me see. He's actually been trending on Manchin. Joe Manchin. He's been trending on Twitter all day because of that. But he was saying since March, they've already spent $5.4 trillion. And he said, this is just irresponsible spending, and I'm not going to vote for it. Yeah, but a lot of Democrats are very mad at Joe Manchin and Sinema. But Manchin has said, if you can't hang, oh geez. But Manchin has said, I'm not a liberal. He said that. He says, I'm a Democrat, but I'm not a liberal. Hi, zombies. Interesting. Okay, where's my other story? Okay, and this is, here, I have some California news for you. They have a vehicle mileage tax in there also, 25 cents to the mile, I heard. I'm hearing about this too. That's why I don't know if Nancy Pelosi was very confident that this was going to go through earlier today, but I'm not sure. Because they all have to be in on it, I believe. All right, and you want to talk California. So I always talk California because California is the future of progressive America. And Newsom just signed a bunch of police reform bills. Hi, Sharon. I hate it when the odometer breaks. Hi, Tim. How are you? Thank you for joining. Okay, so these were all just signed in California. I am all for police reform. I'm for reform of every kind. But I'm just curious as to how these things are going to work out. So this is what's happening in California. Governor Newsom approved extensive police reform measures on Thursday. So this was just today. Okay, so he signed 8 measures into law that include raising the minimum age for police officers from 18 to 21 and allowing their badges to be permanently taken away for excessive force, dishonesty, and racial bias. In addition, the new laws set statewide standards on law enforcement's use of rubber bullets and tear gas for crowd control and further restrict the use of techniques for restraining suspects in ways that could interfere with breathing, the outlet added. The governor also signed legislation including increasing transparency of, okay, this is where it got weird for me, and I had to research this. It says peace officers, and it keeps saying peace officers, but that's the language that they use in California. Is this a thing that I missed? I don't know. The governor also signed into legislation increasing transparency of peace officers, misconduct records, improving policing responsibility and accountability guidelines, raising eligibility standards, and banning harmful restraint techniques. Today marks another step toward healing and justice for all, said Newsom. Yeah, peace officers. Too many lives have been lost. Okay, that's what Newsom says. Today is an important day, he says. It's an inflection point on how we provide for public safety in the state of California. I'm proud to stand with my former colleagues and Newsom to embark on a new chapter in our shared light to infuse criminal justice. The California Police Chiefs Association opposed at least one of the measures, Senate Bill number 2, saying that on its website, it would eliminate certain immunity provisions for peace officers. What is this peace officer language? And custodial officers or public entities employing peace officers or custodial officers sued. Okay, so 36 groups that represented police officers were against the measures. Another group was against Assembly Bill 89, which the governor signed in order to make minimum age requirement higher for recruits wanting to be police officers. It calls for state colleges to provide modern policing degree program for new officers by 2025. By 2025. The Peace Officers Research Association of California, what is this, was against the measure, reportedly saying that new requirements should be mindful of disadvantaged individuals who have a desired career in law enforcement. So in California, you can join the military if you're 18, but you cannot become a police officer until you're 21 now. I don't know. That's a really good question. What happens to all of the police officers who are 18 right now? Great question. I have no idea. It doesn't really say. I wonder if that's something where you kind of age in. Another bill, AB 26, addresses other officers on the scene of an incident and pushes for them to intervene in situations or face potential punishment. The California Association of Highway Patrolmen was against these measures, reportedly saying in a letter to legislators that authorities who get to a scene late might not have all the facts or know whether or not to get involved. They said the arriving officer may not know that the suspect has a weapon or has potentially used or attempted to use that weapon on officers prior to their arrival on the scene. Without that arriving officer having full knowledge of the situation, that officer's intervening could become a danger to other officers and everyone else. And it goes on to say the measures appear to be put forward as a response to the death of George Floyd. And that is the issue. All of these measures, all of these progressive governors and city councils, they just had a knee-jerk reaction and to George Floyd, and they're putting all of these police reform things through without really thinking it out. And that's what a lot of this is. And it's caused a lot of problems. And since we looked at that, I'll go to this next story. Portland, meanwhile in Portland, their firefighters are getting bulletproof vests as risks increase. This decision in Portland was spurred by a changing landscape and more calls that increase the possibility of firefighters being involved with aggressive patients and bystanders, according to Portland Fire and Rescue spokesperson Terry Foster. We will always do anything and everything to keep our firefighters safe because that's what keeps people in Portland safe. So they're saying that, not Portland, so they're saying that this is something they've been talking about for a while, since 2018, which we know is before George Floyd and all of that and the defunding the police. But in the past year, it says the decision to provide first responders with bulletproof vests comes during a year of record-breaking violence in Portland. The Portland Police Bureau reported 837 shootings through August, with the largest year-over-year increase in the North Precinct, where 383 shootings were reported by August 31st, a more than 100% increase from the same period in 2020. So that was, and we all know that Portland was one of the most progressive cities the past summer. They had over 120 days of rioting. Their city council called for defunding the police. They took things away. I believe in Portland, let me double check this. Portland can't use tear gas, right? Can't use tear gas. Yeah, officers cannot use tear gas, pepper spray, or other chemical irritants without issuing a clear order to disperse and allowing time for people to do so. So this is pretty crazy though, because I don't know, like I covered a lot of the riots, especially in Portland, all last summer, and it appeared to me from the videos that I was seeing that police would give lots and lots of time for people to disperse, and they weren't dispersing, and that was the problem. Peaceful rioters, yes, peaceful rioters. Fiery but peaceful rioters. They would say this is I can't remember the exact language, this is a disorderly gathering, please disperse, please disperse. Like they gave them so many opportunities to leave and disperse, and they wouldn't. What also started happening is that the peaceful rioters in Portland started going into residential areas. So when police were using some of the tear gas and the pepper spray, it was getting in people's homes, and the people started complaining. So instead of fixing the problem with the rioting, they just banned pepper spray and tear gas and things like that, which to me, yeah, it really sucks. I actually cleaned up in West Hollywood. I went to help clean up after our riots, and in front of one of our weed stores, there was broken. It's really funny because in my neighbor, like my specific like 6-block radius, there wasn't a lot of vandalism, but where it was the weed shops and the bicycle shop. I guess they like took the bicycles to sell them or something. But it was mostly outside of my little 5-block radius that it was really, really damaged. But I went to go help clean up, and I was sweeping up I was sweeping up glass. Hi, Steven. You got a better idea? I was sweeping up glass in front of this weed store, and there was just a tiny bit of pepper spray powder that I swept up, and that's how serious that stuff is. It was awful, and it was just the tiniest little bit of powder that was on the ground that I swept up, and I felt it. It was bad. So I understand it's awful, but it's not lethal. It's a lot safer than other things. And my feelings with Portland is they let this rioting go on and on and on and on. If they really wanted to shut it down, they could have shut it down pretty early, and it would not have gone into residential neighborhoods, but they chose not to. So now they just keep taking things away from their officers. They keep taking these tools away, and violence is increased. And of course, we know that correlation is not causation, but I mean, there's also common sense in there, you know? Peaceful rioters, no pain, migraine, underground airplane. Oh, geez. I remember there was this university in Virginia here. One of my ex-boyfriends went there, and that's where I met him. I had a lot of friends that went there. It's called James Madison University, and they always say, they don't do this to everyone. They don't do this to everyone. Well, they did it at James Madison all the time. So every year they would have these huge block parties with just thousands of kids. And the university were like, okay, you know what? And the city was like, we'll let you do this. It's fine. But at this time, we'll just say 6 p.m. as an arbitrary time. At 6 p.m., you got to get out of here. You need to go home and break it up. Nothing good happens after 6 p.m., which was basically it. And every year, they would bring out the riot police, and they're like, okay, guys, time for everyone to go home. They gave everyone a chance to go home. And if you didn't get out of there fast enough, they would move in and they would start doing tear gas. But nobody complained because it was like, okay, yeah, we weren't supposed to be there. But they would. Every year that would happen. Hi, Kelly. How are you? But every single year that would happen, they would bring out the riot police. And my worry is with the reform going on in California, so all those bills that Gavin Newsom just signed in California, you know, we keep taking responsibility away from the people and putting it on the opposite. And I just really fear how that is going to look in the future. Like, we're not putting the responsibility, we're not teaching people how to be personally responsible for themselves, how to follow directions, or anything like that. We just keep taking power away from the people that are doing their jobs. And it's really scary where that is going to go, because criminals get entitled and entitled and entitled. And we saw what happened in Portland. And there's another argument right there. So, you know, a lot of the defund the police was about, you know, let's send in social workers, right? To like domestic disputes, to these sort of things that aren't as violent. We'll just send in the social workers. And we just got a story that now the Portland firefighters are going to be wearing bulletproof vests. So we keep hearing, no, it's safe. You don't need officers for all these things. Just a social worker with a clipboard. That'll be just fine. Well, even your firefighters are dealing with more aggressive individuals or people acting out more, and now even they're having to wear bulletproof vests, or that got approved. We'll see how it says that they're not going to be required. It's just going to be there if they want to do that. But so even your firefighters are having to do that, and we're talking about sending social workers in? No. By the way, I used to be a social worker. Do you think I should be responding to domestic disputes? No. And a lot of social workers, a lot of them are, you know, like, a lot of them are women. A lot of them are, like, young women right out of college. A lot of them are middle-aged women with like kids at home and all kinds of stuff. Not exactly. I'm going to protect myself. And I would much rather have someone that is very well trained in aggressive situations than have an untrained social worker. Yeah, social workers are trained in certain things, but they're not trained on how to deal with physically aggressive people, not to the extent that an officer is. So you don't think there is going to be more mistakes? I don't know. I don't see that happening. Anytime when I was working in that field, anytime I felt unsafe or I didn't feel supported, it was not a good situation. It made it more unsafe for me, my coworkers, and all the clients. If you don't feel like you at least have some kind of, I don't mean to say muscle, but you know what I'm saying. Anywho. A cop's most dangerous situations are domestic disturbances. Yeah, I hear that all the time. And you don't know like what kind of domestic disturbances, and am I wrong? Traffic stops as well. A lot of things happen on traffic stops. And those are two things that on the surface you would think, oh, it's not that bad. And when I worked in human services, we worked in tandem with police officers. So I've worked in psychiatric hospitals. I've worked in residential facilities with kids that were neglected at home and stuff like that. And what the police officers would do for us is they would pick someone up. Maybe the person was doing something illegal. They got evaluated. Okay, this person has mental health issues. So they made sure the person was safe. The person didn't have weapons or anything like that on them. And then they brought them to us because our expertise, we're dealing with the mental health issues, not immediate safety issues like someone having a weapon or someone in a domestic dispute or anything like that. So I feel like when you work together, it's kind of a beautiful partnership that works. The police officers were there to go in, make sure everything was safe, and then brought the clients to us, or we dealt with the clients after and did what we were good at. I'm not good at managing people with weapons or people that are in the middle of a fight or an altercation or anything of that nature. I need to feel, if I don't feel safe, I'm not doing my job. My expertise are working with the person and their mental health issues. Speaking of, I started back drink. Oh, so you started drinking bourbon because of this administration? I've never been big on, oh gosh, flamethrowers. I've never been big on bourbon. There's some bourbon that I like. When I lived in Denver, I lived next to a really good distillery. Is that what it's called? Stranahan's. They made, was it bourbon or whiskey? What's the difference between bourbon and whiskey? Someone answer, I'll wait for it. I don't know. Bourbon is from Kentucky. That's what it is. It's from Kentucky. So someone just said, stop incentivizing single motherhood. It's really interesting because I think I heard someone speak about this earlier today. And never before have we had more single moms. And that's what the welfare state does. I started drinking again too, AJ. We're all a bunch of alcoholics here, huh? Um, that's what the welfare state did. And I used to work with people that were on welfare too. And I would say one of the most interesting, it was something so innocent and so mundane. It's interesting the things that you remember. So when I worked at the facility where we had a lot of kids that were abused and neglected that came to us, a lot of our kids, their families were on welfare and they got welfare assistance. I worked in the projects in Denver. Yes, Denver does have projects. Not a lot of people know that, but they do. And a lot of them were on services. And I remember I had two girls that were like 13 years old, and I was kind of hanging out with them and monitoring them. And they were having a conversation, and I was kind of around them, just hanging out. I think I was doing some paperwork or something, but I heard them talking. And it was one of those things that it just stuck with you. And again, it was so innocent on the surface, but they were two girls about 13 years old, and they were like doing their hair and just like chit-chatting like 13-year-old girls do. And then they were kind of planning their future together. I don't know if you remember, like with your high school friends, you'd be like, look, when we graduate, we're going to do this. We're going to get an apartment together. We're going to go to the, well, that's what they were talking about. They were planning what they were going to do in the future. And one of the girls said, yeah, we should get an apartment together. And then when we get our checks, like we'll go out and get shoes and stuff like this. And when they were talking about their checks, they were talking about their welfare checks basically, and they were only 13 years old. But that shows you what that does to your mentality when everyone around you is on welfare, and when you're getting services, you just kind of assume that you're going to be on the same services when you're an adult. And I remember like we would sit there and work with these kids till we were blue in the face, like, you can go to college, you can do that, you can do this, but environment is such a big deal. And when they go home or they're at school, they're in a totally different environment. Thank you so much, Kelly. That was really sweet. Mwah. But they're in a totally, thank you very much. They're in a totally different environment. And that environment is really, right on, Miss Sansoni. Thank you. And that environment is really powerful. And that's all that they know. They look at you as, like they would look at us as, oh, you probably grew up in, the suburbs and you have no idea what I actually go through. You went to college and then you come here and think you're going to say this or that, but you really have no idea what I'm going through. And that's how they viewed us, even though that wasn't true in many cases. I grew up pretty poor. A lot of the people I work with did too. That's why we worked in that field, but they don't see you as that. And that's just how important environment is. And that stuck with me. I will never, ever forget that, but that's what it does to your mentality. Two girls that are 13 years old, both smart. And there's scholarships available. There are so many things that are available to people if you want to go to college. I'm not saying that college is for everyone, but if you want to get a job, if you want to train in these certain areas, especially to kids that are underprivileged, there's a lot of services available, but to them, it's their environment. That's their life. That's what they know, and that's going to be their life. And it's really sad, but that's the reality of not everyone, but a lot of people in that situation. I had a lot of kids like that. They should start replacing the governor's bodyguards with social workers. That will never. If you are poor and want to go to college, you can get Pell Grants. Exactly. There's so many. There's almost more. Maybe I'm wrong. This might sound ignorant, but I just know because I used to work with people. But there's so much available if you don't have the money to go to school. Or there's just so much, but they don't think that way. They're never going to, no one they know went to college. And I don't even think that college is for everyone. I would actually advise some people not to go to college depending on what you do. I know a lot of people that went to college and are in a lot of debt and don't make very good money. I bought a Pell. Oh, wow. I got a Pell Grant, a partial Pell Grant. Oh, that's very cool. Was it hard to get, Kelly? Yeah, but we had kids too. Like we had one kid. She was a really good poet. She grew up. Her family was involved in gangs. Really, really deep into gangs. No, it was easy. Okay, that's good to know. Her family was really, really involved in gangs. Just grew up in gangs, and she was a really smart girl. And when she wasn't at our facility, she was selling drugs and getting into trouble, like hanging out with gangs, smoking weed, just doing all kinds of stuff, not going to school. But when we had her going to school, and she was doing really well, and we found out that she was a really talented poet. And we were even going to get her to go on a trip, I think, to Africa and meet someone really cool and be able to read her poetry for people. And then she was discharged and was going to go on the trip. But after she was discharged, she just fell right back into that lifestyle. I think that's why I have a lot of sympathy when it comes to police officers as well. When I first started that job, this was the job in Denver. we were one of my coworkers when I was in training was like, Sarah, you just be really careful, because we had a city car, and anytime we left the building or took the kids on an outing, we would have to drive the city car. And one of my coworkers gave me a warning right when I started, and she was like, just be really careful, because when you go out and drive the city car, not everyone likes us. They think that we're baby snatchers. Like, people in that neighborhood called us baby snatchers because we were the ones that took the kids out of the home, when for us it was kids that were being severely neglected and other things while they were at home, but people only saw a little piece of the story and judged us based on that. And I think that's why when I hear things happen with police officers, I always want to know, okay, what's the whole story? What's everything going on here? Because sometimes what it looks like on the surface isn't exactly what's going on. There's more to the story. I got Pell Grants when I went to a trade school back in the day. College wasn't for me. I don't think it is for everyone. I have a lot of friends that went to college and they're still paying off their student loans, and they live paycheck to paycheck. And to me, I'm like, wow, and they're not even in the field that their degree is in. So I think it's great for some things, but I don't think it's, they prejudged you before they knew what was going on. Yeah, they did in a lot of situations. Because people don't really understand, and I didn't understand until I worked there at all. But that's why I think from the very beginning, I always want to know, okay, what's the whole... Did you get a Pell Grant for clown school? No. They don't offer Pell Grants for clown school. I did go to clown... If no one knows that reference, I did go to clown school. I got all the way to Cirque du Soleil to audition to be a clown. That was probably one of the... I'm a Michael Jackson fan. I auditioned on the Michael Jackson 1 stage at Mandalay Bay. And it was very cool. I got cut the first round, though. I wish I would have used my God-giving talent of swimming, but I screwed that up. I'm sorry about your swimming career. Dying, thanks for being a good sport. You're welcome. One of my favorite things, though, well, I went to clown school, and then I thought that in clown school they were going to teach us... Michael Jackson is on Telegram. Is he alive? I thought that in clown school, because I'm a huge Lucille Ball fan, and my idea of clown school is like, they're going to teach me how to be Lucille Ball, and I'm going to learn how to do like physical comedy, but they really didn't. So I did learn cool things in clown school, but not that. So after clown school, I found another class in LA at the Second City, and it was I saw Elvis at the mall today. I did too. Which mall were you at? It was just a physical comedy class. So this class, all we did was learn how to fall. And this class was in, I wouldn't go there nowadays. It's kind of dangerous. But this class was in like LA or Hollywood, the Walk of Fame. And sorry about that. There was one tree. Did you mime? No, I didn't mime, Tim, but that's my next thing that I want to do. So if I go back to school, if I take another class like that, I will take mime, because I think it's cool. They teach you a lot of cool things, though. But there's one tree. So in our physical comedy class, they teach you how to fall and stuff like that. And there's one tree on Hollywood Boulevard near the Walk of Fame that every time any student that has ever taken that class walks by that tree, you have to fall. You have to trip yourself. And I won't tell you where it is. Okay, it's in front of Starbucks. Did Ronald McDonald go to clown school? I don't think so. Maybe he did. I don't know. I still get emails from them all the time, especially during the pandemic. They were like, we're doing virtual learning. If you want to take our virtual clown school class, no thank you. But my teacher at my physical comedy class, I found out was a clown for Cirque du Soleil. They call him physical actor/clown. And that's how I figured out, oh, you can audition for Cirque du Soleil. So I sent in a tape and then got called in to go to Vegas, which is pretty fun. I got cut on the first round, but I did win $1,000 on a slot machine. So that trip was worth it. and it was one of the Buffalo machines. I put the minimum bet in, or I put $20 in and was doing the minimum bet and won $1,000. That never happens. Seriously, my dad is Ronald McDonald. Ronald is a killer clown. Yeah, I was balling. I called my mom and she was like, you better hide it. You better hide that money. My mom loves to gamble. Cirque du Soleil is how the French refer to our administration. Probably. Did you see that Biden went to the congressional? Would you do stand-up comedy? I have done stand-up comedy before. I don't know how good I am at it. If you were in these live streams early on, he hasn't been here recently, but Cirque du Soleil. No, Cirque is very cool. I love Cirque. Cirque du Soleil is the largest theatrical producer in the whole world. I do sit-down comedy. Yeah, I tried stand-up comedy a few times. That was definitely the scariest thing I ever did, and I don't think I was very good at it. Oh, but I was going to say, if you were in these live streams early on when I first started doing them, Red Band joined us a lot. And Red Band, he's really good friends with Joe Rogan. He used to be the producer on Joe Rogan show. He's still on there sometimes. But I met him at the Comedy Store because I used to sign up for his comedy show. If you ever want a really good comedy show that is not politically correct at all, the Kill Tony show, search for it on YouTube. But that's what Red Band helped host that show and produce for it, so he's always on. They have a really cool F. Joe Biden is on. Is it trending right now? Hold on, let me try that. Sarah, what is the girl behind the Instagram? Oh, gosh. Okay. The girl behind the Instagram was, let me see if I can find a clip of it for you. Do you guys want to see my terrible acting? You ever meet Joey Diaz? Love that guy. No, I never met him. Okay, the girl behind the Instagram was when I first started acting. I had been acting for a few years, and I just started doing it in Denver, Colorado, because that's when I was working as a social worker, and it was really stressful. So acting to me was just like another hobby that I had that I could just go and have fun. Yes, I'm putting it. You can put me on the spot. That's okay. So I started acting in Denver, and I had an agent, and I would do like little jobs. You don't make a lot of money in Denver. It's not like really big projects, but you can do stuff, and it's fun, and you can make some good side money. So I started working in Denver and started booking stuff. And then I found out that I was going to be moving to LA in a few months, and I really wanted. Okay, oh no, I'll show you. I'm gonna have to do it like silly style, but I'll show you. I'll show you one of my reels. It's really old. But you can actually see me being a crazy liberal in some of it. Hold on. So I knew that I was going to be moving to Los Angeles, and I wanted a shot at acting. Maddie, oh my gosh, you guys. How do you all know this? Y'all are silly butts. I wanted a shot at acting, but in order to even be considered for anything in Los Angeles, you have to be in SAG. And all the projects that were in Denver, they were non-union projects. I needed to get into SAG. So I found a loophole. We were talking about loopholes in the SAG paperwork. So basically, I wrote, directed, and produced and starred in my own project. Steven, thank you so much. I'm in Florida. I'm worried about DeSantis in 2022. I don't think you have anything to worry about, Steven. I think enough people really like him. Thank you for the tip. All of your first YouTube videos. Oh, gosh. I have a lot of first YouTube videos. Oh, so anyway, I found this loophole in the paperwork, and the girl behind the Instagram, I filmed that with my improv crew, and it was something that I made for myself so that I could get myself into SAG. So that's the girl behind the Instagram. Let me see if I can find some clips that I can show you right now. Where are my playlists? Yeah. No. I have a million playlists. Let me find it. Acting clips and reels. Okay. Here we go. It better play. What reel is... Oh, that's my voiceover.
Hi, friends. Welcome to Happy Land, where you can be tickled pink with gleeful fun.
That was my voiceover. Hold on. That was 2015. Sorry, I have to do this. I'm going to get better technology. Whoa, hold on. Please, please, please react to Tom McDonald tomorrow. Oh yeah, Tom McDonald is dropping a new song tomorrow. And this one he seemed nervous about, didn't he? Okay, I'll definitely do that tomorrow.
I can't do it. I stand out. I have one here. People notice me.
God, this is so old.
I'll take this one. You take that one.
Okay.
This is going to take a while. We're going to need dinner.
I'm working on it.
I don't know anymore.
I'm working.
Hi, Alan.
Caveman stream tech, I know.
March Madness pool?
No, I don't really follow football.
See, it's actually basketball.
Yeah, sure.
So, I could say it 3 times fast. Rear in, rear in, rear in.
Are you finished?
I don't think this is the good
I
one.
think so. Babe, you have to relax a little bit. Go with the flow.
Oh gosh.
Told you didn't want to see.
Let go of it. It's called pain.
That's Maddie.
I just kept seeing all these people post all of these self-absorbed pictures of themselves, you know, looking the exact same in every single photo in situations that no one cares about. And it made me think to myself, why am I not doing that?
Think fast.
That's Maddie.
He's the best. Why would I know anything about that?
That's Maddie.
I think I'm gonna start that meditation clinic that I was telling you about.
I think that's a great idea.
Thank you.
I will be there. You're at the checkpoint in a few minutes. I'll let you know when we're there. Okay, so I'm gonna go, and then I'm gonna signal you when it's safe to follow me, and then you're gonna join me. What are you doing?
I'm doing my power pose. Studies show that if you take this stance for 2 minutes straight, your body produces testosterone, and you become more confident. You should probably do it. I don't feel better.
Wait, where's my... Hold on. I have one that's a crazy liberal that you guys would like. Hold on. I'm going to find you a good one. I could watch... So some of that was Maddie. The part that was Maddie, the girl behind the Instagram, so she's the original Instagram influencer. And she's like, I see all these people posting all these self-absorbed pictures out online. And I'm like, why am I not doing that? But that's Maddie.
I stand out. I have one here. People notice me. I cannot hope that I am this dazzling.
Jessica, if you're gonna have this.
That's actually really cool. Oh, thank you. I'm going to... Let me see if I can find... I have... You should go try out for the Hallmark movies. I have friends that do Hallmark movies. I have... If you wanted to see my old YouTube videos... The best is your walk away video. Thank you. I should update that because so much has changed. So much has changed since I did that. I was just thinking Hallmark. That's so true. Oh, thank you. I'm a star in my own mind. Hold on. I wanted to show you some of my old YouTube videos. Oh my gosh, I have so many videos on here. Are we still here? Okay. Why do I have so many videos? Play Kamala. Sarah the Lifetime movie. I could be a Lifetime movie. Okay. You'll see a total. Did you ever meet Brandon Straka? Yes, I actually. Hold on. I have to. Let me pull out my. I'm pulling out my mic. Okay, so that way I'm not gonna die on you. I did meet Brandon Straka, and I have a really cool story about him. So I met him at Politicon in 2019. That was the last time. That was the last time they had Politicon. It was in Nashville, 2019, and there was, so the way it was set up, there's like a main area where there's a main stage and then all of the vendors, and then there's like different breakout rooms where they would have different panels. And Brandon had a vendor table. I live just outside of Nashville. Oh, Kamal at the border. Oh yeah, I didn't know, Kelly, Nashville is very cool. That was my first time ever in Nashville in October, and I wanted to go back, and then the world changed, so that didn't happen. So there was a huge stage right in the middle of this main area, and all day they were talking about Donald Trump and white supremacists. It was just the worst panel. They basically said if you're a Trump supporter, then and Politicon is actually really cool because it's like the political, it's like the unconventional political convention. So you'll see like a comedian debate a political commentator, like Chelsea Handler debated Tomi Lahren one day, and Clay Aiken was moderating things. So it's a really fun, like really spirited event, and it's a little off, which is why I liked it. And I was working on a show at the time. I was working on a show for Blaze TV where we did sketch comedy. So that's why I was there. And so while this panel was going on, Brandon Straka, his booth was right next to this stage. So he went and asked a question, and who is this lady? It's not, she's a really awful lady, not Donna Brazil. A lot of right-wing commentators have come to Nashville. Clay Aiken, yes. Wait, Clay Aiken. Yes, he's the American Idol guy, right? The world changed when The Lion King came out. No, it wasn't Hillary Clinton. Shoot. It was some woman, but basically Brandon got up there and basically called her a liar, and the entire panel walked off the stage. And I was standing behind him when he was doing this, and I was like, oh my gosh. And you could feel like he was shaking. Anyway, he's a really pretty cool to see you just hanging out. I need a break from there. Oh yeah, we'll just hang out. Why not? I'm trying to find my really embarrassing old YouTube videos for you guys while we're talking. Yeah, but Brandon, I thought he was really cool. He was the real deal. He was calling them out, and I'll tell you, like, they were on that panel for a while, and you had to walk by them and hear what they were saying, like, all day. And I was getting mad, so it was quite cathartic for me to see him say something to them. Okay, you ready for... What is this? Okay, I'm going to show you a montage of my old YouTube videos. This is really embarrassing. I'm going to look really young. So this is when I was in clown school. Do you have any fight videos starring Eva? I think she bit me on one of these. Okay, so this is a combination of the old YouTube videos. This was when I was in like clown school and all those things. I don't know. I haven't seen this in a long time. Hold on. Technology. This is private. You're getting exclusive access.
You know what all this holiday cheer reminds me of? Exactly. Demons.
Oh my gosh.
Hello, little Halloween goblins. We're gonna do cookies!
Oh my gosh.
My own shadow just. There are things floating in the wine. Sometimes you gotta do it. You gotta.
Doesn't that always happen? Hold on, I'll start back up. That was, so in that video, I was doing the
Do to stand out.
dollar store makeup challenge. Oh my gosh.
I'm really grown. Ow.
Eva!
For audio synthesis. Say it. Say. No, don't bite, mommy. Start. A. Say A. E. Her nose is a butt.
Hey, jingity jing. It's Dominic the donkey. Jingity jing. The Italian Christmas donkey.
Okay, now the sheets are on. You'll know it's the flat sheet because it doesn't have it's flat. Wow. Do the polar plunge. It's actually kind of nice. Is this how you even do it? Just a bunch of weird individuals trying to feel normal. That was tea. Number one.
We don't know. I don't know what any of these are about.
Catch up on news and politics. In my opinion, the art of physical comedy is dead, which I find positive. I don't want to see someone fall down or get smacked in the head or run into something. I don't find that intelligent. I don't find it entertaining. My perfect film would be about a boy and I would call it Huckleberry Finn Contemplates a Tree. Who doesn't like beer? Oh no!
Well, there's that. I remember her from Reba. I really liked her. So that's what I used to do a scary Halloween short and post it. I just goofed off and filmed it. So my channel it's changed just a tad bit. Have you ever auditioned for a sitcom? Yes. I have auditioned for a few Nickelodeon. I can't even remember. Most of what thank you. Most of what I auditioned for is animation, which I liked a little bit better after being in Hollywood for a while. I also did a lot of like stage stuff. I really like improv and being on stage. I like live performance. Thank Kelly. Worth every penny. Thank you so much, Kelly. That I have not seen that. I don't even know what I was doing. And am I red? I don't even know what I was doing in some of those videos. I wanted to, hold on. You have the perfect, oh, thank you very much. I wanted to show you, I have a scene where I was playing a crazy liberal. Hold on, I might be able to find it. You'll like this. I'm going to show you one more thing just because I think you'll like it.
I can't do it. I stand out. I want here. People notice me.
It's buffering. I do that even when I know it's not working. Okay, let me know if you recognize this type of hat or if you ever thought you would see me in this type of hat.
I see. Hashtag mansplaining. Hi, Ellen. Did you turn
I wish I had that whole scene, but in that I got to play the crazy office liberal who accused all the men of mansplaining. That was quite fun. You will never see me in that now. Bridget Fedesi has good essay on being a crazy liberal in LA. Oh, does she really? I like her a lot, actually. I've just discovered her. Jen Psaki as a blonde, maybe. Oh yeah, for sure. I remember putting the hat on. I was like, ew. Ugh. But it's fun to play the crazy liberal. Thank you. I want to read that. I want to find that Bridget Fedesi. Do you know what is actually like a weird thing that I've always wanted to do? It's not lucrative. It's probably not something a lot of people want to do. I've always wanted to be, maybe I could. I've always wanted to be one of those actors in a haunted house. I know that's the silliest thing and no one wants to do that, but I've always wanted to be an actor in a haunted house. I think it would be really fun, but I also think I would scare myself a lot. I'm a big scaredy cat. Very big scaredy cat. I didn't know anything about you before tonight. I think it would be a fun job, and you just get to wear a bunch of makeup and run around and scream or just act a fool, and you get paid for it. You didn't know anything about me? Yes, I started my, I guess, career in social work, and then, yeah, I love to scare people. Me too. I would scare people, and then I would scare myself. I'd be like, ha, ah. I started in social work, I guess, well, the passersby just subscribed tonight. Oh, thank you so much, Keith. Oh, yeah, and you would I would totally scare myself. Come back to Virginia and be a part of the haunted hayrides and stuff. Well, I'm in Virginia right now, so I almost think I could be. Yes, I am on IMDb. There's also a really big election happening. I miss Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios. That's really fun. But they have it here. They have something at King's Dominion called The Haunt, which looks equally as fun. But I started out working like in social work and that type of field, and then I've always done stage stuff. Like I started doing dance when I was little, but I just forgot about it. And then when I was doing social work and stuff like that, it just got so stressful that I needed a different outlet. And I remembered how much fun I had in acting class as just a little gal. So I went back to acting class and got agents and was able to, I never did anything big, but I had a lot of fun and I did a lot of stuff. Nothing like huge or anything like that, but I had a lot of fun and a lot of like cool experiences because of it. And the cool thing about, having to do everything at home now, like I can still audition. I still audition a lot with my voiceover agent, but I can do it from home now. And even a lot of on-camera auditions, you can do them from home. So, someone used to sneak into King's Dominion. How do you sneak into King's Dominion? I love the ghillie suit. Wait, what is that? When I was a kid, how do you sneak into there? Whoa, I almost fell off the chair. Did you do any theater work as a kid? I did mostly dance, so I did ballet. And then I took acting classes, and we would have like a little performance, but I never did like theater. But I liked ballet. I'm glad I got out of it a little early though. That's kind of a tough world to be in. Very beautiful. You resemble Kristen Bell. I get that a lot, and her and I are actually the same exact height. She's 5'1", and I'm 5'1". She's my sister from another mister. There was a point in time where her and I looked, since we've both like gotten old, not that we're like old, but since we've both gotten older, we've changed a little bit. You jump the fence. But there is a time where I looked identical to Kristen Bell. Like we just looked the same. We even had the same haircut. Yes, she is 5'1". She's a little person just like me. doesn't drink the girl. Thank you, Liam. Maybe I'll show you sometime, but Sister from Another Mister. Yeah, she is. And I met someone that has worked with her before, and I don't know if she ever saw it, but the girl, she was like, I have to take a picture of you and show it to Kristen Bell. Hard to tell on camera sometimes. Everyone looks bigger than they do in real life on camera. My favorite thing about Kristen Bell, if you want to laugh, look at her sloth video. She has an obsession with sloths, and her husband for her birthday rented a sloth or something, and they can come hang out at your party for a while. And she started to cry. I'm actually 3'4". Wow. She is funny. I like her movies a lot. I still think made her cry. Yes, the sloth made Kristen Bell cry because she loves them so much. Like, she was hysterically crying. That's how excited she was that there was a sloth at her party. Do you like Freaks and Geeks? Good show. I never really got into that show a lot. Freaks and Geeks. I saved a sloth on the highway in Panama a few years ago. If you watch, Bill is the best character. Okay. I really liked, what was one of my favorite shows? I really liked Didn't Know Biden Knows Bill. Okay, I'm late. You can start from the beginning again and go. You are so late. You missed everything. Sloth man. This young lady needs more subscribers. Oh, thank you, Joshua. Biden Knows Potato. I really like some of my favorite shows. I love Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's a good show. This is kind of an off show, but it has clown in it. Maybe that's why I like it. Glad you still. Oh yes, my computer. That was my fault. There was a show called Baskets that Zach Galifianakis starred in. I don't think they still make it, but he's a French clown named Renoir, and the show is all about him. That's a really good show. I loved It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm an American from Texas. You live in Tahiti? What? You live in Tahiti. Baskets, love it. It's a great show. My wife is from. That's very cool. Hey, Sarah, ready for the new Tom song? I am ready for it, and I'm glad. Joshua, was it you or was it someone else that reminded me of it? He was tweeting about it earlier this week, and he was saying that, I think he was saying that he was almost not going to release it several times, and he was like, I'm doing it. Here, let's go on his Twitter right now. But keep up with things in America. We'll try. 2 new albums are out now. New video tomorrow at 9 a.m. Who's ready for some truth? I can't play it now. Always Sunny. Yes, that's a great show. Okay, this is what Tom McDonald said. He said, I've almost decided not to release Friday's video 3 times. It's really like that, but I'm still dropping it Friday. I think this is going to be a good one. Let me show you the art So that's the art that he has. What do you think that's going to be about? That's going to be a really good one, I think. Is it called America? Thanks for turning me on to Tom McDonald. You're welcome. You know what's really interesting? I saw it was a school teacher that reviewed his song No Lives Matter, and it was really cool to watch this. It was a reaction by a school teacher. It's called America. I think that's what it's called. That's what I'm guessing, right? Maybe about Project Veritas. But it was a school teacher reviewing his song All Lives Matter. If you guys haven't listened to All Lives Matter, it's an incredible song. And the school teacher was like, well, he's not a school teacher anymore, but he was like, if I was still teaching, I would like spend several classes just going through this. I would love to learn to fly a helicopter. I think it's really expensive, flight school. Notice how the news about Afghanistan just stopped cold. Yeah. That's what it looks. I don't know what this is going to be about. Oh man, the Tahitian people think Biden and Harris are idiots. They even make fun of Pelosi. Pelosi had a video today where she looked rather tipsy. Very much so. Okay, so I'll watch Tommy. Oh, but the school teacher was like, I would spend several classes just going through Tom McDonald's video and just like having a discussion about it. All Lives Matter, one of the most controversial statements today. That's the name of this song, but I feel like he did a really good job. He does a good job of saying things in a way that it gets you to, she is always a little, it gets you to think, it gets you to see it in a different way, and it doesn't come from a place of lecturing. It's just pointing out things I feel that all of us feel, but people are afraid to say, which is cool about Tom McDonald. And he kind of gives both. I used to think there was no way any politician would be worse than Pelosi, but the squad proved me wrong. Don't ever think no one can be worse. Well, I'm glad you're here, Glenn. Glen Allen. There's a town called Glen Allen that my uncle lives in. Flight school is expensive, but $200 for less than 10 minutes. Yeah, I was on a helicopter once in Denver. That was pretty cool. It was much less scary than what I thought it was going to be. And I want to fly a turbine one, which is very expensive. I don't know any. My dad actually went to pilot school, but he had bad vision, so he couldn't become a pilot. Oh, the squad is more than a joke. Than Tahiti, AOC and the squad not be welcomed here. Well, that's good that other people notice it too. I'm glad it's not just us, that other people see it. I'm sure if you're in a different country, it seems even crazier to you. All right, you all, well, I think I'm going to head off. That was really fun. The National Guard, I flew in a helicopter once. Oh, that's very cool. I actually met someone recently. I was visiting a different family member of mine in Pennsylvania, and his girlfriend, her brother, was one of the National Guard that was deployed to D.C. after January 6th. So he was one of the guards that was basically stationed in D.C. Okay, good night, Keith. Good night, everybody. Turbine is the power plant. Well, that's what I thought. You mentioned you were setting up another platform to speak more freely. Yes, so I'm deciding whether I want to do, I don't know with Patreon, I could either do, because to me they're similar, Patreon or On Locals. I like On Locals because Dave Rubin, that's his platform, and I know it'll be a little freer, but I feel like Patreon is easier to use. So I'm deciding between, I have a profile set up on both, but I haven't put up all my videos for everyone to like join and subscribe yet. But I'm looking at those two. I'll still keep this going. It'll still be the same thing. That'll be like more insurance, I guess. Okay, thank you so much, Kelly. It was good having you here, and it was so nice talking to everyone. Thank you, thank you. Good night. Have a good night, Miss Sarah. It was fun chatting with you. Same here. That was a lot of fun. On Locals sounds like a dating site. I know. Locals is good. I have a site there. Okay, so we have, it does sound like a dating site, and I'm not even going to make that joke about myself. Thanks for tuning in. All yes, thank you everyone for coming. That was really fun. And I'll see you later. We'll be looking at Tom McDonald tomorrow night. Good night. Bye, you all.